How gratitude can help you in your networking. I'm a big believer in gratitude. It's where I start my day. The first thing I do is I think of 5 things that I'm grateful for, and it puts me in a better mood right away. It's also something that can help you with your networking. It will help you focus on who you should be connecting with, what you should be saying to them, and doing it in a way that will ensure or at least give you a better likelihood of success that they're going to respond to you when you reach out and connect with them. Let's start with who you can express gratitude toward. So this is something that often we forget about this when we're networking, because we're thinking we're going to talk to absolute strangers, we're going to reach out to people we don't know. But there are plenty of people in your life who you haven't talked to in a long time. There's plenty of dormant ties out there for you to get back in touch with. And many of these people helped you at some point in your life. These are people who maybe were a colleague you worked with, or a boss, or maybe a mentor, or even a friend that helped you at some point in your life. You might have thanked them at the time, or maybe you didn't, and that's an opportunity now. Think about people who have helped you at some point in your life. Think of the key moments in your life and think who is involved in helping you. Very commonly, there are other people who are involved in our successes. Most of the time, we don't really adequately thank them. Reflect on those moments. Think about those times and think about who you'd like to thank for helping you at those times. Go ahead and write those people down. These are, again, people you probably already know and would likely be able to get in touch with, but really think about what they did for you and what you're grateful for those people. Then take that list and start to think about how you could get back in touch with them. Could you send them an email? Could you send them a LinkedIn message? Could you send them a message on another social? And think about what you would say to those people. Would you say, thank you for that advice that you gave me? Would you say, thank you for talking to me when I was struggling? Thank you for giving me a referral for a job. All of these things are things you can express gratitude for. It doesn't matter if you haven't talked to these people in a long time. You can always tell them in your note, you've been reflecting on your life and your career. You've been reflecting on the key moments, and they were a part of those key moments. Reaching out to them and saying thank you for what you did in that key moment, no matter how long ago it was, is a great way to reestablish that connection. More than likely, they're going to respond to that. When people get a thank you or a message of gratitude like that, they are at least going to respond. And probably you can start a conversation with them. You can start catching up with them, finding out what's going on, what's new, and who knows where that goes. You may restart a relationship that's kind of gone dormant, and you don't know where that's going to lead. But too often we forget about these people. We think that's not part of my network. So those are the people I want you to think about this week. Think about people who have impacted you. Make a list of who those people are. Plan to start connecting with them and thanking them, expressing gratitude. That's one way that you can improve your networking or increase your networking, by reaching out to people you already know and saying thank you for what you did for me. Another thing you can do is, besides sending them a note, if they're on LinkedIn, you can write them a recommendation. And this is a great way to show your gratitude for someone. It's not only being able to express what the person did for you, but you can also take the time to explain to the whole world who's going to see this very public recognition of gratitude why this person's such a great person. When you do this through LinkedIn, and I've shared the link before on how to write a recommendation, I'll share it in the newsletter. You go through and write a few sentences. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be really long, but just explain how you know the person, what they did for you, and why you think they're a great person. When you submit that, that person's going to get a notification from LinkedIn saying that they have a recommendation from you. usually when you do that, that person's going to reach back out to you and thank you for that recommendation. And again, another opportunity to start a conversation with somebody you might have lost touch with. I talk about this all the time. And some of you who listen to this podcast or watch the video podcast or read the newsletter probably think he keeps talking about starting with people you know. The reason I say that is too many people forget about that network that they already have. We're neglecting it. We're leaving it aside. We're not making a good use of it. You are going to meet new people through the people you already know. That's how we all meet people. We get introduced by other people. Starting with the people you know is a great way to get started. It's also a great way to get introduced to new people. There's a whole process to this. Starting with who you know, getting back in touch with them, and thanking them is a great way to get the conversation going. Again, write them a recommendation on LinkedIn. That's number 2. That's a great way for you to, again, express your gratitude and also start the conversation again. I think the other thing you could do on LinkedIn is give someone a shout out in a post, someone you're thankful for who helped you out or has helped you out. It's an easy post. You can say something like, I've been reflecting on my career and there was a few people who were there at key moments. And you can list those people, or you can just list one person and you can talk about what that person did. This is a very public shout out, because if you write a LinkedIn, likely you and the person if you write a recommendation on LinkedIn, the person who you wrote it for is going to see it and it's going to go on their profile, and people are probably not really going to get down to that unless they're thinking of hiring this person for a job or doing business with them. They want to see what the recommendations are. But if you do a shout out in a post and you say, here's why this person's great, a lot of people are going to see that, which can be great if it's a very genuine expression of gratitude, and will also likely get the person to respond and reach out to you. You want to make sure these are very, again, genuine expressions of thanks, very appropriate, especially if you're going to get very public and post somebody's name and tell people how they helped you. But if you do that, it also brings attention to that person who, again, that may provide them with opportunities. More people might start following them. You have to use a little bit of discretion here. What are you comfortable with? What do you think that person's going to be comfortable with? But it's a great way to, again, thank somebody, make that connection, start the conversation with them, which can lead to you guys helping each other, which leads to you getting introduced to new people, which leads to your network growing, which leads to you finding opportunities. Those are 3 ways. Okay, so let's go back to think about somebody that you know that you're grateful for. That's what you're going to do first of all. But then there's 3 things you can do. You can send them a note and tell them how much you are grateful to them. Thank you notes, whether they're electronic or on paper, have just fallen by the wayside in our social media, online, inward, me-focused sort of lives we lead. We don't thank people enough. And if you are the person who thanks people, you're going to stand out. So sending a note of some kind to thank somebody for what they've done for you is the least public. That's probably the one that's going to be between you and that person the most. Number 2, write a recommendation on LinkedIn. That's going to be a little more public because it's probably going to be on their profile. At the same time, it's not as public as the 3rd thing, which is to write a post and thank somebody on LinkedIn for helping you. That's a more public way to do it. And so you just have to figure out which of those 3 things you're really comfortable doing. In the spirit of that, I want to recognize a group of people, and I'm sure I'm going to leave somebody out. So I apologize to anybody who feels like they should be on this list. But there's a group of people that I'm grateful for who show up every day on LinkedIn and comment on my posts. They don't have to do it. There's no agreement here. There is no obligation. We, and I say we because I comment on their posts as well, but these people comment on my posts because they want to. These are people who are career coaches, resume writers. They're just other people who have been doing it for some time, and they're all on LinkedIn pretty active as well. They show up, they comment on my posts. That helps my posts grow. That helps my follower count grow. It's helped me get to over 20,000 followers on LinkedIn now. It's helped my newsletter grow to over 1,300 subscribers. And I couldn't have grown without the support of these people who, again, without any reason, no obligation, they don't get paid for anything. They just show up and do it. They show up and comment on my posts on LinkedIn. And so there's a few people, and I'll tag these people in my newsletter. I'll tag them in a post next week on LinkedIn. But here's the people who I see consistently on my posts: Steve P. Brady, David Hannon, Neil Dansker, Kevin Smith, Paula Christensen, Jessica Sweet. I know there's a lot of people who show and comment on my posts, and I'm grateful to all of them. I know I've missed somebody. Please just know, if you're one of those that I didn't call out, that I am grateful to you as well. It's one of the things that keeps me showing up on LinkedIn and posting every day is people adding to my posts, not just liking them and saying nice posts, but adding additional insights. It helps me think about it. Sometimes it challenges me, takes me in different directions thinking. So that is a group of people I am very thankful for. I'm grateful for. I truly appreciate. I hope that you have success finding a list of people that you're grateful for, that you truly make a plan to reach out to them and reconnect with them and start having conversations that are going to lead you to additional network connections and opportunities. Go out this week, connect with a few of these people, get back in touch with them. Let me know how it goes. If you're struggling with this or any other aspect of networking, please leave a comment. Let me know what you're struggling with. You can send me an email. You can comment on the newsletter. You can comment on the podcast. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. You can leave a message there. There's tons of ways to get in touch with me. I'd love to hear what you're struggling with. I'd love to help you because that's what I'm here to do. I'm Greg. I'm the Introverted Network. I teach introverts to be better networkers. So have a great week. Always be connecting.